That's fun. Yeah, it was mature energy. I like that.
Oh, yes, mate.
Thanks.
Cheers, man.
Wow.
Thanks. What's exciting is that's the first time that's ever worked. So we've got to share the moment together.
Thing is, if you know Josh, I could have said mature.
Yeah, you do me very well.
That's funny.
Wow.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
That was great.
Thanks. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I have to be honest with you. This is all to do with making a prediction. And I have to be honest with you, this is not a very good prediction.
Okay.
Mainly because I am not somebody who can read minds. But I'm going to try my best, but wherever your expectation levels are, lower them. All right?
Mine's an easy read.
Good. Your job is to keep an eye on the prediction. That envelope there, that's a prediction. Now, obviously you go shopping sometimes.
Got the shopping list.
Occasionally, you might accumulate receipts. If you're anything like me. We're going to do something with the receipts. I got some receipts here from various different shopping trips, from various different shops. I need you to do me a favor. You're going to take the receipts and you're going to pick one of them. I'm going to look away. You're going to pick one of them, whichever one you want. You're going to bring it to the front so you can see everything that I've bought on that shopping trip. Okay. You want to check them all out. You can see that they're all different. They are genuine receipts. So you take the receipts, pick any one you want to, cut it to the front. I will look over there out the way.
Just put it.
Yeah, so you can see it. So you can see it. So if you're going to go for this one, for example, you do it so you can see it.
Okay.
You understand? I'm going to look away. Anyway, you can do it together if you want. I don't mind. Pick any one you want. I don't mind. Are we good?
We're good.
Now, whatever receipt you've picked, I want you to look through it and pick one of those items off the receipt. But don't tell me which one you're picking, but you can pick any one you want to. I'm going to look away. Have you got one?
I can't see which one you're pointing at. This one?
Yeah.
No, okay, I'll go for this one.
You got one? You can change your mind if you want to. You happy with that one?
Yeah. You don't even know what this is.
I have an assumption.
Are you okay with that?
I'm fine with it.
You've got one item off that receipt.
Yes.
That freely chosen receipt.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to look at it, but this receipt has that thing on that you're thinking of.
Yep.
Now, here's the thing. When I go shopping sometimes, hold on to the receipts. When I go shopping, sometimes I buy the same thing every time. Sometimes I buy it like once in a blue moon. Sometimes it's like every other trip. It depends. The item you're thinking of on this receipt, it might be on the other receipts more than, it might be on all of them. It might be on an extra one or just two of them. I don't know.
Okay.
Go through the other receipts. Any receipts that that item's on, give to me, and then hold on to the others.
Okay.
We want to know how many receipts that item's on that you freely chose. So it's on this one. It's on that one.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah?
Yep.
Cool.
Okay, it's not on this one.
So to be clear, it's on this one. It's on this one. It's on this one. It's on this one, yeah? Yeah?
Yeah, I think
So it's on four of them.
I think so.
Okay. Just hold on to those for me. We're going to try and do something.
Okay.
And this is kind of weird. And you'll see why. Can you hold on to these? This might not work. I don't know if this is going to work. We're going to try. We're going to try. Hold on to those for me. Here's the thing. I told you to keep an eye on that receipt, on that prediction.
Yeah.
If I told you I knew how many receipts it would be on and I predicted it, would you believe me?
Yes.
He would believe me. Would you believe me?
I suppose that could be done.
You see,
four,
I told you it was a terrible prediction. See, I put no. It's even worse because I wrote down that it was going to be on 3 receipts. You said 4, but I did know I'd be off by 1. Which is okay. But remember, it's not the best trick, is it? I mean, it's okay. It's okay, but it's not great. And that's the problem. Every time I do this, I get the same critique. Every single time I do this, I get the same thing. People turn around to me and they say, it'd be good if you could tell me to think. the thing that I was thinking of.
Yeah.
But that's impossible because I couldn't possibly know what you were looking at. I couldn't possibly know there's a whole bunch of different things on there. You didn't write it down. You didn't tell anyone I was looking in the other direction. If I could actually tell you what you were thinking of, now that would be incredible. That'd be impossible. Let's use our imagination. I want you to imagine that you're going into this. You're going into a supermarket.
Wait.
You're going, yeah, you're going up and, of course, why not? You're going up and down the aisles and you're finding the thing that you selected. You're taking it from the shelf.
Yeah.
You're going and paying for it. You're taking it home and you put it in the kitchen because that's where it belongs. It belongs in the kitchen, doesn't it? It's an item that you'd keep in the kitchen. You wouldn't put it in the fridge. You'd put it in the kitchen. You'd put it near your bread bin. And the reason you put it near your bread.
Hey, everyone. What is the crack? Good to have you in. Good to see you here. Thanks for popping in. It's so good to see everyone in. Kevin, Jake. Oh, so good to see everyone. Anyway, we're not here to, hear me flap my gums. We're here just to see and hear two gentlemen flap their gums about the Infinity deck. I want to introduce you to the one and the only, and the other one and only, Craig and Lloyd. How are you two doing? Oh,
yo, what's going on, man?
What an intro. Oh, doesn't get any better than that. How are you doing today?
I'm excited. I'm very, very excited. It only seems like a couple of months ago that I was doing this with you before, with a vote.
Yeah,
a couple of months ago, you and I were shooting the breeze with a vote. We were
hanging
chatting.
out. Just looking into each other's eyes. It was
And
good.
now we're doing the same thing again. We've got the third wheel. We got Lloyd with us as well, so that's great. But, it's exciting times.
I'm happy to be third wheel.
Well, right now on the stream, he's sandwiched between us. He's like separating our love right now.
Before we talk about anything, what's really important is, last time I spoke to you on YouTube, we talked about you getting me some photos of Austin Murphy in the bath so I could use them as blackmail for Murphy's Magic. Now, have you managed to get that for me yet?
I do have those photos, but they're on my own personal use over
on that special hard drive.
over there, one with the cherry sticker on it.
Their own personal self-love vault.
Anyway, moving right along. Before I get a strongly worded email, we're here to talk about Infinity. Yesterday, it kind of was put out into the world, so we wanted to kind of tell everyone all about it. I know you two gentlemen did incredible videos breaking everything down, but we also had people that want to. Sorry, everyone was like, that was a worse video, talking about Austin. And anyway, you guys did amazing jobs breaking everything down.
I love how much we've thrown Bo off.
Oh, I'm so sweaty right now. I'm so sweaty.
Apparently, all it takes to throw Bo off is talking about his boss naked, and then that's it. It's done. Right? No.
Anyway, on to Infinity. I hope you guys are good. Let's talk. Let's get straight into it.
Okay.
Yes.
You're right, Bo.
The elevator pitch. I need a sip. Elevator pitch.
Gone so south.
Wait, we are 8 minutes in and we've already gone south. Your elevator pitch on Infinity Deck. Can you gonna give it to me? If you were gonna hop in an elevator with me right now, tell me exactly what Infinity Deck is.
Lloyd, do you want to take this or do you want me to?
Well, since I've got an Infinity Deck here, I think I'm going to let you take this because I'm going to probably end up showing a bunch of stuff.
Fine, you do that. You have an Infinity deck.
I
I have a bicycle deck, all right? I've got a bicycle deck. I bought the wrong deck, but it's fine. It's okay. So what's Infinity Deck? So Infinity Deck is an incredible tool for magicians and mentalists. The reason it's called the Infinity Deck is because literally the stuff you can do with it is infinite. You can do killer predictions. You can do whether you're performing on stage or you're performing sort of in a walk around situation with no table, kind of really in the trenches, or you're performing sort of big table style. It doesn't really matter where it is that you're performing. There's routines on there for everybody. In its core, it's a picture deck disguised as a deck to inspire creativity. So you bring it out and it looks legit. Every single one of those cards has photos and images on them. And using those photos and images, you can do killer predictions. You can do killer mind reading routines. You can do magic routines. You can visualize stuff. You can do productions. There's so much you can do. It's not just a one-trick pony. It's not like the Infinity Deck does this and that's all. you can literally, like the video, you referenced the video I did the other day. The video I did the other day, I did like probably a 20-minute performance to Matt, and I was just scratching the surface, literally just scratching the surface. It's the tip of the iceberg. So I think it comes with 20 odd routines straight out the box. But then on there as well, you know, there's somebody else. We'll talk about this a little bit later on, but it's not just me and Lloyd. We have the GOAT when it comes to picture decks on this project as well. The GOAT, the greatest of all time. And I genuinely mean that. And I said to Lloyd, if we could have one person on this project with us, who would it be? And we both came up with the same name, and somehow we managed to get him on there. And we'll talk more about that in a bit. But
yeah, so just want to say that that's like our WWDC Apple one more thing moment. We kept it completely under wraps to the point where we weren't going to tell anyone until Friday. And that's why, even though the product got leaked, they didn't leak the big bonus piece of information, luckily.
So we're leaking that today. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, of course we are.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, yeah, now we are.
I need like a little sound button, like the air horns. I'll just do it. I'll mime it.
I'll say a bit more. Like one reason, like there's so many, like I've been part of the project, you know, helping out, developing them with you, Craig, photo decks, and obviously they've been inspired right from Snaps, which is like the grandfather, the godfather of photo decks. There's so many out there, and they all have their amazing uses, and I'm intrigued by them. And like it's like Rubik's Cube magic. I haven't found like the right thing until Craig called me and explained what his idea was for the core element of the Infinity deck. And I keep calling it the Creative Mind deck because that's what it was called in as a WT. But this idea of a improv deck really captured my imagination because I've seen them out in the wild. And this idea of people who are struggling to think of something to write about for short stories. Like if you look at like Andy Weir's, the guy who wrote The Martian, have you ever seen a short story called The Egg? It's one of the best stories ever written. It's just like the theme is an egg, and I think stories like that wouldn't be written wouldn't exist if people just didn't go off on random tangents. And sometimes you need some inspiration, a bit of like improv inspiration, whether you're writing lyrics for songs or stories, improv comedy. And these type of improv decks exist out in the wild. So when Craig told me about what his thought was to take something like this, which can capture like the imagination, I was instantly hooked. And then on top of that, the first thing Craig said to me was about the Quran principle built into this, and how it's like the Quran principle on Smack.
Which we can talk about if you want in more detail.
Yeah.
I think we should. I mean, we're here to talk about like the nitty gritty.
Yeah, let's literally tear into that deck. Not literally. We don't want to ruin it, but
the Quran deck, I'm looking around if I've got any here. A Quran deck is imagine having 4 of the same cards repeating. Like imagine this: Ace of Spades, 2 of Spades, 3 of Spades, 4 of Spades. And then imagine they repeat through the deck. So Ace of Spades, 2 of Spades, 3 of Spades, 4 of Spades. Ace of Spades, 2 of Spades, 3 of Spades, 4 of Spades, 4 of Spades. But in between each of those is a random card. That's what a Quran deck is. And it allows you to do things like you can deal through the cards and a spectator will call stop. And because even though they're seeing the same 4 cards, the fact that they're dispersed between random cards makes it really, really fair. And it means that you can deal face up, and it's very hard. Well, pretty much no one catches that they're the same cards repeating, right? That's essentially what the Quran deck is. And it's used to force, and it's used to reveal certain cards. It's a beautiful principle, but it's limiting. Obviously, you can't do too much examination of the deck. If you spread the deck and let them look, they're going to see all those dupes in your face. Craig calls me up and says, I have an idea for this improv type deck using photos infused with the Quran principle. And he said the clever part is that unlike playing cards where you have to use Ace of Spades, every 10th card or every 9th card?
Every 8th card, I think it is, yeah.
Every 9th card would be an Ace of Spades. Every 11th card, every 9 cards is an Ace of Spades. Then there'd be, a 2 of Spades. For example, he said if the 4 categories are like house, flower, dog, person, you can have those 4 subjects repeating, but they can be completely different types of images for each subject matter. So you can have 4 completely wild. You can have like one of them is like a Monopoly dog. The next image of a dog is a picture of a dog in the field. The next one is a teddy bear dog. Completely different color backgrounds, which Phil Smith added in on purpose, so that at a fairly, not even like a glance, but like a fairly good inspection, because you're not looking at the subject matter of every single card, plus they're dispersed by random X cards in between each one. The audience can look, and every single darn card to the untrained eye, to the general public, is completely different.
The one thing to add to that, Lloyd, very quickly, by the way, is not only is the core image different, so, you know, like a Monopoly dog, for example, and the way that Phil designed those individual cards is there's more elements on the card as well. So with a Monopoly dog, it might be a Monopoly dog that's front and center, but it's on a table, and there's like maybe a girl in the background playing Monopoly or something. There's other elements, but the main element is the dog. So if you looked at the card, you go, okay, well, that's a dog. But it's not like you look at a playing card, it is literally a playing card. There's nothing else to see but that playing card. Not only is the core image completely different and the background very different, but there's other elements that make up the card as well, which puts the people off even further. Like, in the year that I've been performing with this, I've literally tested this out by take this deck, which you should never do, but I wanted to test it. Take this deck of cards, look through each individual card, and make sure they're all different. And people go, yeah, everything's different. They're all just images.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Because they don't know that they're looking for a particular subject matter. So the truth of the matter is, before you say, think of what's on that image, when they spread and look, you say, can you verify that every single photo is different? That is absolutely true. 100% true. Every photo is different. So on some of the cards, the subject matter has the same category, dog, flower, thing, but they're dispersed, they're mixed up, and the images themselves are actually very, very different. There's paper flowers, like origami flowers. There are paintings of flowers. There are photographs. They're all so different by design by Phil Smith. Really, really clever stuff going on there. So when Craig told me like the improv idea, then he explained how it was going to work with the Quran principle. And the thing that I found that, like, obviously I love card magic. Never going to stop loving card magic. It's my first love in many ways. They say you either die a magician or live long enough to become a mentalist, because the more you perform magic, the more that you find that as you start to like tap into people's minds, you do get stronger reactions as on the general level. So if you just say to someone, pick a card, okay, think of this card, lose it, or maybe that's not a great example. Like, let's pick a 6 of diamonds, right? Someone picks a 6 of diamonds, they lose it in the deck, and you say, okay, focus on your card, touch my hands, just think about it, try and connect to that card in some way. People will be like, I've seen, yeah, I don't know. But you show someone a photo of a flower, instantly they can evoke emotions, mind the plug, from a million different things. It could be weddings, funerals, planting. I know when I did it to Kaylee, she was thinking of, I think, a flower. Is it flower? She was thinking of flower. I know she'd been planting flowers with my son in the garden, so I could see a smile straight away. And that alone, don't forget, people remember things differently. So that alone isn't just like a 6. If I said 6 of diamonds, amazing, I revealed the 6 of diamonds. But now, if I wanted to, I could push that further, and I could do a bit of like even like minimal magician cold reading. But suddenly, I'm not just revealing a playing card; I'm revealing emotions and memories, all because of this simple deck. And I'm not really, I'm not doing any extra work for this. All I'm saying is, okay, can you remember the last time this evoked an emotion in you, or you connected with this image in some way? It could be the dog, the house, or the person. All 4 of those images, people are going to have a memory of in some way, shape, or form. Super simple stuff to us, and it's like Pareto 80-20. You're putting 20% out, and you're getting 80% back, all for the sake of them.
And it's worth noting, by the way, that the 4 images that are classified, the 4 force types of images are dog, house, flower, and people or person. And they were chosen very, very specifically because anybody who does mentalism will know that if you have somebody make a simple drawing and you disqualify car, I want you to write something down. I want you to do a simple drawing. It's something simple that everybody recognizes, like a car, but don't do a car. There's a very good chance that they're going to hit one of those 4 force images. And our special guest on the project that we'll talk about later, he actually has a big section on using that in combination with psych forcing to do some absolute insane stuff.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. So that was what started off all the discussion with the Infinity deck. And from that phone call, it was like, well, why don't we do this? And why don't we do this? And why don't we throw this out? And why don't we do this? And why don't we do that? And at first it was comical. We had like an Excel spreadsheet and we were just writing down like, why don't we make loads of the cards spell out a sentence with homonyms? And then it was like, why don't we do an ACAN? Because every project that me and Craig does specifically, but every project we get involved with in some way ends up having an ACAN. And then it was like, well, what if some of the photos come to life? What if we do this? What if we employ this idea by so-and-so? What if we take this principle by so-and-so? And then it's like, well, what if we reveal stuff on the box? What if we put the crib on the box? What if we mark the deck? What if we have, and I say we in the loosest terms, what if we get the genius that is Phil Smith to put his genius marking system on it? And then he put markings on there that we're only just discovering, literally, within the last few days. He hid markings in the markings just for fun. And even he doesn't remember them because he posted on the Magic Cafe, the evil green monster, saying that it's been like 2 years since he first did it. And he couldn't remember how much work he put into this thing. It's like markings on top of stacks, on top of principles, on top of ploys, on top of homonyms, on top of ACANs, on top of playing cards, on top of reveals, cribs, peaks. It's just bananas, and it's all.
And you know what else I like? You mentioned the word stack there, and I know sometimes people are scared of the word stack. The routines that we go through, there are so many different ways to actually prepare your deck. If you want to have the deck completely shuffled and you don't want to use a stack, that's absolutely fine. If you want to use a stack, that's cool. If we talk about so many different ways of using this deck, because somebody who uses it in a parlor type situation might necessarily use it in a completely different way to how it's being used by a walk around magician that hasn't got a table, that needs like certain things to happen for them that is different to somebody who's using it in a formal show. So, and we talk about all of that. We talk about all of the different ways that you can set this up and use it so that it works best in the environment in which you find yourself performing.
That's one thing I want to talk about. This is a proper worker deck. This isn't like, this is literally, like you said, so many different layers, so many different routines built into this. You could go out and do a whole night with this and have new routines at every single table.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, you could just improv routine to this. I want to say what's up to Ernie, Larry, we've got Fiddlin' Johnny, Rafferty Cooper. I'm a huge fan of Rafferty Cooper. What's going on, buddy?
And we also got people all on Instagram too, like Alan. There was LUCA VOLPE in here as well.
Oh, what?
There's everyone in here, and also on an After Chew. There's everyone on Instagram as well. So everyone's popping in. I'm constantly diving out into the chat to say hello to people. So I'm not.
I've done a live stream for so long.
Mate, it's so good, isn't it? How's it feel to be back? Take a second. Let's let that information sink in for everyone. Get some questions in. But how's it feel to be back on a live stream? Good.
I feel sick.
Feels good.
I'm such a hermit these days. I don't go out. I don't leave my house.
I want to actually. I've set something up, and I don't know if this. Let's see if this works. I set something up today, but you could do this. Everyone on Instagram's going to miss this, but YouTube's going to see this. Like, what? There's a countdown, and I'm like, ah! That's now taken a photo and posted it to our Instagram. I'll posted it to our Discord, which will get posted to our Instagram later. But it should come up in chat. There you go. In our YouTube chat now that says go check this photo out, and that's posted to our
that's
Discord
cool.
now, so everyone can go see that photo. So there's like a little hidden thing in the chat. So you got to find some things. I've hidden things throughout the stream that you could also do.
I'm gonna
this.
use this as shameless self-promotion. I'm about to hit 100k on YouTube. Go to my channel on YouTube and hit subscribe. I'm like 30 subs off or something.
He's amazing. Like, wow. I mean, I've got genuine, serious, like envy when it comes to their setup. There's Lloyd with his beautiful green close-up pad. He's actually got the freaking deck that he needs to actually talk about this project. He's got all of the posters behind him. The lighting's perfect. There's Bo, who's got like 55,000 camera angles. He's got like a ceiling that looks like it's an actual cloud. He's got like Minecraft and magic merch everywhere. And there's me sitting in my kitchen with a radiator and the thing that we use to dry the clothes behind me. I mean, like, I've honestly...
Sarah's behind you?
Under the magic world.
I'm sorry, Sarah, I love you.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna get a strongly worded email now.
I am. Yeah, but Craig, you know, me and Bo bring the quantity, you bring the quality.
That's it.
You bring the
it.
Style, you bring
the
substance.
We're overcompensating right now. We're like, we haven't got anything to bring to the conversation. We just need to like amp up the background. So while people are losing interest in what we're saying, they're looking in the background, mate.
I'm the guy rocking a party sausage with a Ferrari. You know what I'm saying?
Jeez, this is about to take a dive again. I need to take some questions.
Tony, Brew, what's going on, everyone? David Keith.
Yeah, Lloyd, can you throw your link
to
your YouTube channel in the chat for everyone to go check out?
Oh, yeah. And
I'll copy and paste it and throw it in Instagram as well, because some people are asking for it.
I'll send out an infinity deck to one of the next 50 subscribers on my YouTube channel. So whoever the next 50 are, I'll block you off, and I will choose.
You're going to have also people unsubscribing now and then resubscribing.
Oh, I have a thing that tells me who does that.
Oh, okay.
So don't bother.
Don't bother. Okay, question for Craig. Will I need to age another year before I finish the tutorial for this one? How long's the tutorial?
I believe this one clocks in at about 6.5 to 7 hours, doesn't it, Lloyd?
Well, no, I think our tutorial... Right, the ironic thing is, this is called the Infinity Deck. It could have had an infinitely long tutorial. However, I think it's about 4-ish hours, and then the special guest has 1 hour and 13 minutes of tutorial.
And then I did a half-an-hour bonus video as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there is that. Oh, yeah. So it's probably... It is going to take you at least like half a working day or close to a
But the way that me and Lloyd do the tutorial is within 15 minutes, 20 minutes at the beginning, you're going to know exactly what you need to know. We cover the basics at the beginning, so you can just get out there and start doing it, and then you can dip into the rest of the routines over time.
Yeah, we said like, let's not make people wait 3 hours to be able to do the full core routine.
Yeah.
So we just teach it straight off the bat. And we cover the principles within the deck and certain things. And there's a great question I can see from Miko in... I'm going to scroll up. It says, if you use a stack, how quickly can you build the stack from the shuffle deck? It's a great question. So it basically... Say you're putting a deck in new deck order, you can do it that quickly because all the cards have the numbers of the stack on the back right here. So I don't know if you can see, but that says 0, 1. That says, it's upside down.
Hang on, let me...
That says 0, 2. Have I got 2? Yeah, 0, 2. I'm looking at it back to front of my camera. It's flipped. So that says 0, 2 in the center. That says 0, 3. Right there. I'm seeing it reverse mirrored, so it looked like it said 30 to me. Of course, 0, 4. So all you do is you take the cards in their shuffled order and you run through them, and it's exactly the same amount of time as it would take to do new deck order. If you're looking for the ace of spades, 2 of spades, 3 of spades, you look for 1, 2, 3, 4. So unfortunately, there's no way to speed up time, but you do have to go through it. If I'm being completely real, it probably takes like an extra 20 seconds because... I don't know, I'm probably used to the faces of the cards, so I can just be like...
There's 2 things to note about that as well. Outside of the core stack, which is marked with the numbers, we reference many other stacks as well. And there's lots of routines that, or most of the routines actually, keep the stack in order. So when you finish the routine, even it looks like they've shuffled and they've cut and there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, you can literally put it back together within seconds. It was really important to me that there was all of I went through a way of stacking the deck. So if you're a walk around performer, you gather it all up and it resets instantly. That's an important consideration for me. The other thing to note is if you are using it in proper stack with the numbers, that's an extra cool bonus thing as well, in that you effectively have 56 cards marked from 1 to 56. So if you've ever seen like mem deck users have a deck of cards and cut the cards and say, look, do me a favor, cut some cards in my hand, and they weigh them and they can tell you how many cards are there. The reason they can do that is because they've memorized the deck of cards. So they're just looking at what the bottom card is. They know that's position number 15, for example, so they can say there's 15 cards. And I'll tell you right now, one of the best things that you can do with a mem deck is that weighing thing. I've seen Dynamo perform for real people, Stephen perform for real people many times, and just do that and just have friend. But you can do that with no memorization because you've got the mark and they're so front and center. Lloyd could cut the cards now, so just cut a small packet of cards for me, Lloyd. Okay. And he's going to look at the deck and he can see the number. He takes one away and he can tell you how many cards that you've cut into his hand. So how many cards are there, Lloyd?
There's 11.
11.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is what I mean. In my video yesterday, I put up, I said I'm literally not even using all the things built into the deck. I can say straight off the bat, there's at least I didn't use the weighing or the estimation system. I didn't use the marking system to see which card was cut to, because there's a whole bit of like they can cut and complete the cards, take one from the bottom or top. I didn't use any of that. I didn't use the marking system from before or after. And I didn't use like the one-way system in the markings. I didn't use like I didn't actually use the proper Quran thing. I just semi-stacked it, so I had it like brief, sort of shuffled in a way. I just cut all of that out, and that stuff on its own, like you're saying, being able to have someone take a deck of cards, lift up some and say, I've got 17 cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 cards. That stuff on its own is if you think about when people do that with a deck, if they want to have this image of being a pro gambler or whatever, you can only do it with a stack whip. People love that. Like lay people react really strongly to that, and it's just built in. It's just another thing just in the deck. Didn't even bother advertising it. It's just crazy.
That's one thing. Sorry, go.
Oh no, go on. I was going to mention something about that, but you go first.
Oh no, that if you want to talk about that, because I just have people asking about other principles, because you talk about the Quran principle a lot in this.
Yeah. So one thing that you can do, I don't have my infinity deck, but I do have my diary. So Lloyd,
this is another thing.
Me and Lloyd might be able to do this ourselves. So one of the principles that we have in here is, and this, when you watch the live performances on this kills. Basically, you bring out a diary and you say that next to every single date, you've written a description of a card that's in that deck. There's like 56 cards, so you shuffled them, you wrote them down, and you did it again and again and again. So there's a couple of repeats, but there's literally every single card, every single date has a different number next to it. Now, this is how strong this is, and all this uses is the numbers on the backs of the cards. So what you do, this is the principle. I would say to Bo, I'm going to give you this diary. What's your date of birth?
2nd of March.
2nd of March. So all I have to do is add up the 2nd, which is 2, and March, which is 3. That gives me 5. I know next to the 2nd of March, you're going to have the card in the 5th position. So now you're holding this. I can take the deck and very easily force you the card in the 5th position, which is there. And now you can open up the deck. You can open up this thing yourself. And this is so cool. So what did you say? 2nd of March. Let me show you. So if you see 2nd of March, it's green leaves. But if you look, every single one is completely different. They go to the next page. Every single one is completely different. They go to the next page. Every single one is completely different. They go to the previous page. They go to the previous page. There is no repeat that they can see. And you go 2nd of March. Let me go back to the 2nd of March. 2nd of March, that was green leaves. And then you show the card that they cut to, and they cut to green leaves. I mean, how killer is that?
That's wicked. That is wicked. Well, that comes. Someone just asked another question. So if the cards are taken out of order, does that limit your routines and stuff? Yeah.
No, because there's a ton of routines. It's a little bit like Evoke. Remember when we were discussing Evoke, and I said, look, there's routines that involve the stack, but there's routines that don't involve the stack. If they picked up the deck and shuffled the deck, there's still an absolute metric ton of stuff that you could do.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, like for example, if off the top of my head, if they'd shuffled the deck or they didn't have the deck in stack specifically, if they just had the Quran cards with no interspersed cards, they could. I'm going to keep the deck in order for now, if throughout the stream. But if they just took the Quran cards on their own and had someone shuffle them up like crazy, they could have that person look through. They'd see they're all different. They could then cut any card, look at it, place it back. You can then peek using the markings on the back, whatever that card is. So you could peek that at any point you wanted to, whenever they cut to it or peeked it or after they peeked it. And then they could shuffle that back in, and you immediately know it's one of 4 things. So then you can have one of 4 outs.
No, Lloyd.
One of those 4 cards beforehand.
Lloyd, if you peek the back of the card, you know it. It's not.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But if you've got one of 4 outs in your pocket, so say you took one of the photos of a dog, a flower, house, and a person, put them in front, right and left pocket, back, right and left pocket. Then you can say, look, I've got a prediction in my pocket before we begin. Take these cards, shuffle them like crazy, make sure they're all different. Cut one card to the top, I get my peek, and say, oh, actually, let me get my prediction out before we do anything. So you pull out the right card from the right pocket, say, remember that card, think about the subject matter. Okay, we'll lose these, we'll shuffle them back in. What is it you're thinking of from all those different pictures? They say house, you show the house was the matching prediction pulled out. Super killer, that requires no stack whatsoever.
It's a miracle. It's an absolute miracle.
We didn't even, that's not even on the tutorial.
Yeah,
that's just
it's not.
It's literally not.
Well, you could leave also a tiny bit of a stack inside your tuck case. So you'd have the spectators shuffle up the whole deck, put it back in, and have like 5 or 6 cards in the stack in the top of your tuck case.
Yeah, the homonym cards are ideal for that because there's 9. I think there's 9 homonym cards. So you can keep those in your wallet with the prediction written on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Because part of that effect is not just that the homonyms are the prediction, but it's the fact that they get to shuffle. And Craig teaches multiple different shuffles, false shuffles on the project, like
lots of different ways of doing it.
Turn and flip one or whatever that is. You know.
Yeah.
Well, we had one question, that come up on Instagram. Someone said, I assume I can replicate the likes of this with every other picture deck out there.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
The reason you can't is very simply because the core method behind this deck. Forget about the hominin cards, because you're not going to be able to replicate the I believe I can influence what you choose, because those cards aren't going to be in any other they're not going to be in any other photo deck. But let's just put a pin in that and put aside that for a minute. Let's put aside the ACAN features, because other picture decks aren't going to have the cards that you need to create a completely hands-off ACAN. Let's put those to one side for a minute as well. The core principle that makes this work is the fact that there are seven dogs, 7 houses, 7 people, and 7 flowers. And each one of them has been designed by Phil Smith to look completely and totally different to any other. So each flower looks completely different to each other. Each background looks different. Each image that surrounds it looks completely different. And that allows you to literally have... Look, here's the thing. The Quran deck, the Quran 101 deck, is one of the most popular dealer items of all time. You go into a dealer shop and you say you want to do magic, the first thing that they're going to show you very early on is a Quran deck, because it's completely self-working, it's an incredible dem, and it fools the hell out of people when you see it. This Quran principle, this incredible forcing principle, is built into this deck, and for the first time ever, the deck is examinable. There's never been a Quran deck before where it's examinable and the subject matter is so interesting. So unless you've got a photo deck where you've got 7 flowers that all look completely different to each other. And
there is your evoke deck, but that came after this. But we've developed this first, but that came in sense. But it's not exact. Again, it's not the same. It's a fraction of what this does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, an absolute fraction.
So there you go.
No.
There you go. Yes.
You can feel free to try.
Well, yeah. we also we also had a comment on Instagram coming along the same way we just mentioned Evoke, that their Evoke had 2 gaffs with it, right? Correct? With the 2 gaff cards of the... Is there any gaff cards included in this?
No, because in order for the system to work, you need 56 cards.
Okay.
So, however, having said that, that's very QVC of you. In order for the system to work, there need to be 56 cards. When you order, please stop. When you order Lloyd Barnes' audition for QVC, ladies and gentlemen, is now live on Instagram and YouTube. Now, there needs to be 56 cards for the system to work in order for the deck to be cyclical. A lot of the routines, and we haven't even discussed this, I didn't even talk about it on my video, Lloyd didn't talk about it in his video, because the deck is cyclical by its very nature, it allows you to do some really insane stuff that is nothing to do with the grand principle and more based on the marking system that Phil designed. So it has to be 56 cards. Now, when you order a deck from USPCC, and these are printed by the USPCC, it means that you get 56 cards, which is why you normally get a couple of Gaff cards with a normal deck. However, having said that, and we've not really referenced this yet, what we did is your Gaff cards are built into the Gaff cards are built into the photo cards that aren't being used for the grand principle, the homonyms, or the ACAN style stuff. So, for example, me and Lloyd sat down and we were like, right, what cool pictures are we going to be able to include in this? Well, let's put an 8-ball in. Why? Because then we can teach a bunch of routines where you make an 8-ball appear. So I go through, and when you watch the live performances and you'll see the trailer, there's a woman that goes, oh, when I always open this deck with a really quick production of an 8-ball. I force the 8-ball. I know it's in position 22, so I can just literally look up the marking system, riffle force, 8-ball, boom, production. That's a great opener to this deck because it grabs people's attention. That 8-ball was put in there for a reason to be able to do that. There's a light bulb in there, so we can do a routine where we predict a light bulb on the napkin, and then the picture of the light bulb on the napkin actually lights up right in front of people's eyes. There's a picture of 2 aces in there for a routine with a pack of cards that goes alongside it. So there's no gaffed cards, but the images within the deck can be used for routines that you would normally use a gaff for. Does that make sense, Bo?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. You can also you can go through any of those images and create routines around that for your own personal use that work with your character.
That Lloyd was very passionate about, weren't you, Lloyd?
They sort of elicit imagery and things. So, like, for example, there's like the aces. So there's pictures of aces, and they're scattered by poker chips. So there's also a computer chip in there. So that's a homonym on its own. So you think of the homonym card, where it's I believe, I can influence what you choose. You could force someone to think of. You could say, take a card out. You force the aces, and you say whatever you look at whatever it is in the image, and think of something within it. Don't go for anything obvious, like, I don't know. You could just get them onto the chips using some psych force, and then you can reveal the computer chip as what they're thinking of. But you say, I got the right thing, but I've got the wrong image. You can reveal chip. You can just get playful with it. But again, there's the fact that there's like the card spades in there. I know that Ian Bailey has a great trick using like a prop spade that you can pull off a card. So you can intertwine it with other effects that are out there. For example, being like the 8-ball. It's a bit overwhelming how much there is. But like other people, like I can see someone, Morgan May, in the chat saying, I almost feel like forcing homonyms not in order could be even more powerful. Feels truly random and like you're trying to make it work. In order almost feels too forced, maybe, just my preference. And that's the beautiful thing. The fact that people are seeing these cards and looking at how they would want to present them themselves and the different ways they feel they could up the ante to make them more powerful or to match their own specific style. That's exactly why I was so excited to personally like join this project with Craig, because I love getting creative, and I think I almost see this like a skeleton, and these are just the bare bones, and that's why people are like, oh, how long is the tutorial going to be? And for once, it's not like 9 hours, or it's close, but for once, it's not 18 hours of tutorials, because we're giving you a lot creatively. We're giving you a lot in terms of method and principles, but we don't want to, like, there's a lot we want you to discover for yourselves within these cards, and because then when you often find, like, if someone gives you a new tool, like a prop, and they say, here's the new version of the thumb tip, right? Imagine the thumb tip's never been created before. So someone releases a thumb tip with no routines attached to it. then people buy it and they start to create their own tricks and they fall in love with the thumb tip then, and then suddenly it feels like it's sort of theirs in a way, because like, oh well, the way I use it is I do this, this, and that. And no one's done this because it's my idea. And although we obviously give you a metric ton of stuff you can do with the Infinity deck, there's so much left to be discovered that we don't want to take ownership of, because when you take ownership of it, you'll fall in love with this as much as we have. We believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, can
Very
we?
eloquent, of course.
Yeah. I think that's the stream done. We don't need to say anything else after that. Let's go home.
He's nailed it.
I saw a message. Or Morgan May just responded, love having a utility deck. Reminds me of Snaps, but enough difference to play with. Which we'll get into.
Drop the bomb.
Well, I think after that, I was going to go into another question, but I think with that question, we have to.
All right, let's give it 3 minutes, and everyone comment one more thing if you want to hear the big.
Yeah. Comment how much you want to see Craig in the bath. If
Comment one more thing. If you can do that, we'll tell you the exciting.
Yeah, I can see you on Instagram too, guys. So if you can comment on Instagram, yeah, make sure you like, follow, share, subscribe, and get Lloyd to 100K.
Subscribe to Lloyd, but like and follow this.
Yeah, get Lloyd to 100K if you can. The question I had on Instagram as well, I was trying to find that a second ago to see who asked it, and I'm sorry I've lost who you were, was asking more about the marking system, because we keep talking about the marking system on the back, and we just showed the numbers. Yeah. I know Evoke had a lot up and down the sides. There was a question about what were the marking systems on this.
So Craig, do you want to explain, and I'll show?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so they're marked in kind of basically 3 ways. So the first way we've talked about, which is in between where it says creative and creative, that's the stack number. And if you look at the back design of the cards, they look like kind of almost like columns of a maze, and it's almost impossible. Well, it is. I mean, it's ridiculous how good these marks are. So the first one is the stack number in the center. The second one, if you look on either side of the sort of the light bulby type cog above creative, and it's omnidirectional, so it's either cog. It doesn't matter which way you turn it round. You're going to see 2 letters. Now, those 2 letters are going to tell you an awful lot. First of all, the force cards are marked, and they're marked in a way that you'll instantly know what the force card is. So if you see a PP on either side of the card, that is going to tell you that it is a person. So I don't know how well you can see that there. There's a PP, and that's going to tell you.
You can see a person's PP?
It's a person. Now, if you see a HH, that's going to tell you it's a house. So if you see a HH on either side, that's going to tell you it's a house right there. Okay. If you see a DD, that's going to tell you it's a dog. So this is a DD. And then finally, if you see an FF, that is going to tell you it's a flower. So the force cards are marked. So if you're doing the classic Quran 101 style routine, that doesn't normally use a marked deck. So you have to keep track of what the next force card is. Because if they stop on an indifferent card, you don't know what the force card is. So you have to kind of keep track of it. With this, you can literally just look down. You'll know what the force card is. Now, that's used in many different ways, in many different routines, knowing what that force card is just as a glance. However, the indifferent cards that land between the force cards.
So just to say, the force cards are essentially all the even values. So the second, fourth, sixth cards, force.
Yeah. So all the cards in the odd position, which are non-force cards, they are marked, and they use the same letters, but they're slightly different. Like on the one Lloyd's holding there, you can see a P and a H. The P is on the left, the H is on the right. Now that will tell you that when you're looking at that card, the person will be at the bottom of the deck. Of course, it'll be the next card. It'll be the card above that card in the stack, and the house will be the card directly underneath that card. So you can have them deal, or you can have them cut the deck, and you can see immediately if you see a DF, for example, you're going to know where the dog is, you're going to go and where the flower is, and because it's cyclical, it works no matter where they cut, which is why there needed to be 56 cards there. And we've got Lloyd's especially has a load of routines to do with that marking system. We originally designed it just so that people could keep track of where things were when you were using the Quran style routine or the Quran plus style routine. But then it kind of has been expanded on. And even though you're only needing a letter, it's not like evoking that there's a whole word being marked or something like that. It's just a letter. But that's all you need, because you're not dealing with emotions. You're not dealing with words. You're dealing with pictures. You're dealing with images. So it's a totally different thing. The other way that it's been marked, finally, is with the border. And basically, if you look at the corners of the cards, you're going to see that is straight. Can you see that that's straight? And if you compare it next to a curved one, Lloyd, that'd be really good. So you can see there, one straight.
Corner is rounded.
Oh, yeah.
This corner is sharper.
The rounded corners are the force cards. The straight corners are the non-force cards. So you can literally spread the deck out on the table.
That means if you want to show any convincers or do any tricks, you can spread. I can't see the letters in the corners now, but I can easily see which are my Quran cards. So if I wanted to say, if I wanted to just pull out a card and flash it for whatever reason to say, look, you could be thinking of an icon, you could be thinking of a light bulb, and now they're not force cards, so it looks even more innocent and fair. Or there's a bunch of different tricks anyone knows with this. And what you could literally do is separate the deck into all rounded corners, all sharp corners. You have someone take any card from here, you tell them to place it back in the bottom half, so they select one card from the top half, place it back in the bottom half, and immediately you can tell exactly what that card is. And there are ways of doing slight shuffle tracking, like a Charlie Island shuffle, where you just reverse essentially the two piles. And so the spectator can shuffle the deck and you can still find the selected card because of an extra mark input in there.
And there's a ton of stuff you can do with that. So that's how the marking system works, and that's what the marks do.
So simple, just crazy amount of stuff involved.
For anybody who's used to evoke, this marking system is very simple. But it's because, Phil is very, very passionate about you. If you think about it, like if you look at Cube 52 and you compare it to evoke and you compare it to this, one thing that Phil is exceptional at is picking the right marking system for the right project. And he knew with evoke, it had to be complicated because they needed to know so much information with the Moab words and the emotions and the next card in Alpha Stack. Whilst with this, it doesn't need to be as complicated. So it means that you can make it very, very simple while still giving the person all the information that they need to do any routines that they want to do it with.
One of my favorite things on the project, I think it's one of the first things we teach on the tutorial, because the way that it's marked with the Quran cards being expressly marked and the indifferent cards indicating which Quran cards are either side, is just this. It's so powerful. But you can hand someone the deck, and you can have them cut and complete this under the table or behind their back. They can take either the top or the bottom card, and they can hide it, sit on it, look at it, whatever. And then you place these away, and because you can see on the back design, you know they've either got a Quran card or they've got a sorry, you take two cards, you take the top and the bottom card, or take the top card or the bottom card, or the two top cards or the two bottom cards, and then you can tell them using a one ahead thing which one they've got. It's one of those things I need to perform it. I have to give someone the deck to show you what it looks like. But it's one of the first things we teach in the tutorial. And I love it so much because it's so bloody fooling.
It really is. You showed it me.
Analog with the deck.
Lloyd showed it me, and even though I knew the deck and I knew the marking system, and I had no idea how he was able to get the information that he got. It was so killer. But using those marks, you can also do sort of Visa Cabaret style routines. Using those cards, you can do free will style presentations. You can literally have 3 people take out cards, and you can do a free will type thing on the fly. Which is really cool. I mean, there's.
I'm sure you teach that. Is that something you teach?
Yeah, I teach the free will routine. Yeah.
Okay, so a bunch of people, it looks like, have commented one more thing. Miko says, one more thing, done, get on with it.
Yeah. I literally gonna say it. Someone in
Jesus.
Instagram as well just said, I've said one more thing, and it's not. You guys keep chatting. Tell me. I was just saying how long we're gonna wait until everyone just burns Murphy's to the ground because we're not gonna tell them.
Well, look, you know that when the last few Murphy's releases that I've done, I've had a special guest on there. And it's always somebody who logically makes sense. So you look at Evoke, we had Peter Nardi, we had Ian Rowland, and we had Pete Turner, arguably three of the best mentalists in the world, because it was a project specifically about emotional mentalism. You look at Cube 52, we had Kev G and Colin Klaus, who are arguably the greatest Rubik's Cube, you know, with a regular Rubik's Cube that you're ever going to see. They're absolutely insane. And Peter Nardi was on there as well, talking about mentalism applications. So I think it's really important. You look at ED seats. I mean, that was ridiculous. I mean, we had Lloyd, we had Javier, we had Pete Turner again. We had so many people on there, like 7 or 8 people. So with this, me and Lloyd sat down and we said, if we were going to have somebody appear on this project and contribute ideas, who would we want on there? Who would be the best person? And we both came up independently with the same name.
We said it on the count of 3.
Yeah.
And it was like this. 1, 2, 3, David Jonathan.
David Jonathan. And because he's the GOAT, right?
He created the Snaps deck.
He created the Snaps deck, which is insane. It's a great, fantastic, phenomenal deck of cards. And I said to Lloyd, will he do it? And you were like, oh.
I think so.
So we reached out, and this just shows how amazing David Jonathan is. He was like, hell yeah. So he's had the Infinity deck for a while now. He was the first person to get one in an actual box, all nicely tucked up and looking good. And I had on the project, he's got near hour and a half, I think, worth
an hour and a quarter, I think, of tutorial. From just the 4 hours of mine and you specifically alone, with David Jonathan, that makes up 20% of the project is from the godfather of photo decks himself, and the ideas and the routines that he's come up with. I feel embarrassed that I'm involved. You know, it's like, oh, I should have.
He came up with systems. I was the one that had to sit down with him and like do the tutorial, do his section with him, and he was blowing my mind, like literally blowing my mind. So he's come up with a very simple way of using the crib on the back of the box, and the deck was never intended to be used like this, but he's come up with a very simple way of somebody can literally name a number, and you know what they, just by looking at the crib on the back of the box, you know immediately what the image is at that number. And so he's come up with the most insane any card at any number ever, where somebody names a number, somebody names somebody, and he uses it with a sight for. So he's like, write down an image. Somebody thinks of an image. Somebody names a number in the position in the deck, and he just picks up and deals, and it's the image that they thought of that they wrote down, like using this system. And he's like, well, because of the Quran system, it means that each card is so far away from each other, and so it means that if you take the crib and you add 2 onto this and you do that, I'm like, dude, you're blowing my mind. It's ridiculous what he's come up with. And then he's taken some of the cards that we arbitrarily put in there that we use for other routines that we didn't think had a use for, and he's like, oh, I've come up with this killer card routine that uses this particular card. I'm like, damn, that's good. Like the stuff that he's got on there. And it's amazing because Snaps is so good, but David is the first person to say the Infinity deck is a completely different thing. Snaps does the thing it does beautifully, you know, the hidden message inside the cards. It does it so good. The Infinity deck is a completely different beast. There's so much built into the Infinity deck. You can go in a lot of different directions, if that kind of makes sense. And I'm so happy that David is on the project because he is the GOAT. He is the GOAT at well, not just at picture decks, just generally, but you know, especially when it comes to picture decks. And the fact that we managed to get him is just amazing. He's so good.
If anyone's not realized how much of a big deal and addition he is to this project, wait till you watch his ideas. Yeah, I felt very inferior.
And you know how humiliating it is.
He's
that
in the
me and
chat. He's in the
Lloyd-
chat.
Oh, he's in the chat. Oh no, I feel
You know
so
how
bad.
humiliating it is that me and Lloyd spent the best part of a year and a half creating routines for this deck. And in a month and a half, 2 months, while he was putting the Black Mirror project together, by the way. So he was doing this while he was writing some of the most insane, ridiculous shortcuts you can ever imagine. While he was doing all of that, he created some of the best stuff on the project that just completely fooled the pants out of me when he was showing it me. Like, it's just, he's ridiculous. The guy's ridiculous.
So we should just cross out your two names on the top of this. It should be Infinity Deck by David Jonathan.
I would say that, yeah.
Bullshit by David Jonathan and Phil Smith.
And two other guys. They're like in the small print down the bottom. Oh, mate, that's wicked.
But yeah, thank you. I can see David in the chat, dude. Thank you so much for being part of our project. We are beyond honored. You are.
I would say he's
levels, and you are above us.
He is probably, I would say, one of the most creative magicians of the modern era. Like, he is going to go, like, when in 100 years' time, you know, we look back and we look at Vernon and Marlowe and we look at the greats of magic. And in 100 years' time, when people look back at this era, they're going to be talking about people like David Jonathan, who has literally changed the game. Yeah. He's the guy that changed the game when it came to shortcuts. He's the guy that he's changed the game when it's come to accessible magic that everyone can do. He's the guy that's changed the game when it comes to picture decks and so much more. And he's so generous with his time. You know, he will help anybody, no matter how busy he is. And he's a busy guy. Family man, busy guy, and he will literally help anyone.
If you can't wait until Friday and you want to get a taster of how clever David Jonathan is, if you don't already know, which you already do, pick up his Black Mirror project and you can download it. So you're not going to wait for any shit if you've got an iPhone, and you'll get an understanding of where this guy's head is at.
Yeah, that was one thing when I first dived into the Black Mirror project, which really quickly talking about that. I was like, oh, okay. Phone effects, and it opened up a plethora of just crazy wealth of knowledge. I even messaged him. I was messaging him about it. I was like, I've played around with this method before, but what you've done is just blown everything I've ever thought about out of the water. And I was in awe of his thinking in this.
But put it this way, I reviewed the Black Mirror project, and my intention was to skim the project because it's really long, and then learn one trick that I could perform. And I think it's the longest review I ever did because I just performed all of them because I set them all up on my phone. I was like, oh, I can't not do that one. I can't not do that one. Oh, I've got to have that one on my phone as well. I just went down a David Jonathan rabbit hole and like came out a couple of days later with a phone full of freaking amazing EDC magic.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad that David Jonathan's in this. I'm really excited. I haven't watched the tutorial yet, so I know what I'm doing for literally I'm on a plane Friday, so I know what I'm going to do on the plane. I'm going to watch it all.
Where are you going Friday, Bo?
I'm going to California, baby. Going to Murphy's shit. Not at liberty to say. I'm not at liberty to say. This is the Craig Petty show right now, so we're not doing any of this. Someone just mentioned before. It goes, how's when I was sweating before and I've calmed down now. Don't get me sweat. I can't get sweaty again. Someone said Bo's just realized he's got himself into a podcast with Craig and Lloyd and realized what it really is.
Oh. No, we haven't even started swearing terribly yet or talking about our members.
Anyway, David Jonathan says, didn't mean to hijack the stream.
My advice is not to bring up Peter Nardi, else this is going to go south very quickly.
Oh, yeah. Don't bring up the barnacles. Nardicles.
The Nardicles. Oh, dear. We should get that in T-shirts. Anyway, anyone got any questions? George says, LMAO, Craig Petty saying a project is long. It's true. Craig
says, I own Evoke and Mind Blocks, and they are both amazing.
Yeah. Which is sick.
Well, if you like Evoke, if you like Mind Block, and you know what? I love card magic. I love card magic. But I gig a lot. I don't think there's many magicians that perform professionally as much as me. I'm outperforming all of the time. And I'm telling you right now, decks like Cube 52, the Infinity deck, Evoke, Mind Blocks, all the decks like that They are the ones that connect with audiences more than a deck of cards. These days, right, I go to gigs sometimes and there's weddings and there's teenagers there, and I'll pull out a deck of cards and I'll go, oh, name a card. And they go, oh, I've never seen a deck of cards before. I don't, well, name a card. What are they? I'm like, okay, well, there's clubs, there's hearts, there's spades. You pull out a deck of images, everybody can relate to an image. Everybody can relate to an image. You could literally give them a shuffle deck and say, take out an image that you can relate to. Forget about everything that's on the project. Forget about everything that's on the project. You could literally use it as a normal deck of cards, have someone take an image, put it back in the deck, do a card control, do a double turnover. Is that your image? No, put it in their hand, boom, turn it into their image. And that will get a better reaction to a certain percentage of people that you perform for that maybe haven't used cards or they've never played around with a deck of cards. And there's more and more people like that all the time these days than anything else. You know, it'll just using this deck in that way will really just allow you to connect on a different level.
The very first ever, before I was like a magician, so I was just a little skater kid. The first ever professional close-up magician I seen at a wedding, the trick that he did was the invisible deck, but it was a deck of dog cards with different dog breeds. So he went up to a group of girls and said, hey, do you love dogs? What dog have you got? And they said, like, oh, Yorkshire Terrier. And he was like, that's unbelievable because I have a deck of all my different dog breeds, and like there's only one card I've turned the wrong way around. It was the Yorkshire Terrier, and they went absolutely ballistic. I mean, like I've never seen the invisible deck hit like that ever, and that was like 20 years ago. I would love to find that deck actually and find out who produced it. It's definitely out there. But yeah, just by looking at that, the magician was amazing. Even like looking back now, he was an amazing magician. And the ones who know what hits are the ones who got the authority. And Craig's the busiest magician in the UK, at least top 10. And you can easily, you have a bank of card tricks, you have a bank of coin tricks, all unreleased. You have a bank of Sharpie tricks, cube tricks, all unreleased. You're not putting the photo decks out because they're the low-hanging fruit. This is the stuff you are genuinely calling me up and saying, dude, I was at the gig, I did this thing, I had to put my playing cards away because I couldn't go back to them the rest of the night. I did this with this deck. I did this with this deck.
This is the stuff that excites me. Yeah. This is the stuff that excites me. And we could have made the tutorial 20 times longer by saying, hey, you can do a ace assembly and use the 4 pictures of dogs instead. And yeah, you could do jazz aces and use 4 pictures of dogs and use some other random cards. You could do twisting the aces with 4 random pictures. Lloyd talks all the time about one of his the first thing that really inspired him as a magician was the last trick of Doc Daly. You could do that with 2 dogs and 2 flowers. You know, there's so many different things that you can do.
I didn't even think about that shit.
There's so many, yeah, exactly. There's so many different things that you can do, but we chose not to teach that stuff on the tutorial because it's kind of obvious that if you take this and use it as you use it for what it is instead of as use it for images. There's a ton of different card routines that you can apply to this deck. And honestly, I read on the cafe, somebody said, oh no, it wasn't on the cafe, it was on your Discord. Somebody said, oh, not another deck of cards that's not a deck of cards. And that's cool. If you don't want to use this sort of thing, that's absolutely fine. But I'm telling you from experience, I hardly ever use card tricks these days because I would much rather go out with a Vogue, go out with Cube 52, go out with the Infinity deck and use those because I can do exactly the same stuff. Yeah. I can do card in the box. I can do ambitious card. I can do anything like that. But it's going to connect. I say to somebody, take a card, any card, go through the deck and take your favorite playing card out. Magicians do that all the time, don't they? Hey, what's your favorite playing card? Take it. Nobody's got a favorite freaking playing card. Nobody has. Nobody sits there going, you know what, darling, today I'm going to work out what my favorite playing card is. Said nobody ever. Unless you're a hardcore gambler, that never happens. You give someone a deck of photos, you go spread through that deck and go find an image that you can relate to. And you do an ambitious card to that and you go, look, I'm going to put that card in the middle. Now it comes to the top because you're thinking about this because you connect to it. Whatever it may be, it's 20 times stronger.
Also, everyone who has ever performed a magic trick in their life has had this moment. Okay, pick a card. Okay, we'll lose it back in the deck, shuffle it up, and come to the top. Right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to shuffle, and then right. What was your card? And
I've
the
forgotten
spectator goes,
Forgotten it.
I don't know. I don't know. If you say to someone, go through this deck and find an image that you love that connects to you in a certain way, or maybe you just think it's funny or cute or makes you sad, take it and take it out. Now, when you do an ambitious card, or if you say lose it in the deck, shuffle it up, whatever, and you control it to the top and you finally reveal it, describe the image you're thinking of. Oh, it was a person holding a mug and it looks like they were ill with the flu. Brilliant. They're not going to forget that image.
Nope.
But they could forget a 6 of spades or a 9 of diamonds. And even something as basic as that, it sounds arbitrary. It sounds like a throwaway comment. But how it completely ruins the flow and the moment of impact, that champagne cork of a reveal. If you say, and finally, name your card, and they go, oh no, shit. What? Like, all the air is being let out of the balloon. But if you say to someone like, think about the word of this card, and they think of, dog, right? Just to make it simple. And what was the image that you were thinking of? 3, 2, 1, dog, boom, the room explodes, and it's because they can't forget it.
Yeah.
And it sounds really silly, but when you're actually going out and doing magic, and you're not just somebody trying to condemn every trick on the Magic Cafe, this stuff's important. It's really, really important things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Robbie said
that moment that they go, sign a card, lose the deck, and we're going to try and find it. You go, what was your card? They go, oh, I don't know, but I did sign it. It's like, oh, great, yeah, but you were supposed to, yeah, okay, never mind. Let's read some comments though. There's some
that's what I say. Robbie says absolutely true. I love card tricks. It's the first magic trick magic I really learned, and these decks are more meaningful and carry less heat than a normal deck of playing cards.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. There's no heat on them.
And a big shout out to Phil Smith, by the way, for creating the tuck case the way he did. That legitimizes that deck. That the Infinity deck is legitimized by how authentic the tuck case looks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just looks so.
I like all this, it says 2021 winner of Grand Prix Select. But it's the type of stuff that is on regular boxes of cards like this.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing we mentioned about Evoke. And again, with this looks like something you would pick up from the airport or a bookstore or somewhere that are like
Tiger, a shop called Tiger.
Yeah.
Chris James says, I've been playing with this for a minute. They truly hit it out of the park. He says David Jonathan is truly the GOAT.
Yeah, he said my roommate picked this up and legit thought it was from Target. So he didn't think it was from like a card trick. And he also said Lloyd teaches a way to shuffle stack that I've never seen, and then for me it's worth the price of admission alone.
Oh yeah, thanks man. Yeah, that's a cool thing. Jake Keane says Chris Dugdale Doggy Style might have been the ID deck you're on about. What are the things we got here? I can see them coming through. I'm going to use this with lurks.
This is a bit off topic, but I had Ella on Instagram ask a question because she says 2 legends in the chat or in the call. Any advice for young magicians? She's a young female magician from Ireland. Any advice for young magicians getting into the game and not doing work at material?
No, don't. But my advice to young people is I was laughed out of a magic society when I was 16 years old. I went in there, I was showing them this coin through bottle that I'd created. And it's actually one of my favorite ever creations. I was showing them this coin through bottle. And some guy said, you don't want to be doing that rubbish. You want to be doing the classics. And then for the next 5 minutes, he fumbled his way through twisting the aces, shaking really badly. And all the men around him clapped. And I remember thinking, there's respect for your elders, but also you've got to trust your own instinct. So sometimes if you love something and people criticize it, if you're passionate about, like, I don't like Rubik's Cube magic. Please don't kill me. But if you're passionate about it and everyone tells you, don't do Rubik's Cube magic, do Rubik's Cube magic. Do whatever you enjoy. Yeah. You've got to respect your elder to a certain extent. But like, I decided to ignore a lot of what people told me to do, and I ended up here.
Yep. So, good advice.
What's Craig's? You've done so much for young magicians. What's your advice?
Yeah. So number 1, remember it's meant to be fun. I see so many young magicians just like practicing constantly but don't force yourself to practice. Do it because you love it, not because you feel it's something that you have to do. If you don't feel like you want to practice one night and you want to just watch TV, because if you constantly force yourself to do something, you're going to end up resenting it. And we've all seen people that have, we've all met people that, oh, I used to do magic and now I don't. You want to continue to have that love for magic. So, make sure that you're rehearsing, make sure you're practicing, but make sure that you're doing it because you want to, not because you feel like you have to. Number two, kind of as an extension to what Lloyd said, only take advice if you think the advice is relevant to you. A lot of what I call old farts in magic, and I will put myself in that bracket as well, will try to tell you that their advice is the only way that something should be done, but that is 100% not the case. I meet people all of the time that are older in this industry, and they go, oh, you don't do magic with mobile phones. I still do magic with handkerchiefs. Well, yeah, 40 years ago, people borrowed handkerchiefs because everyone had a handkerchief. Now they don't. Everyone has a phone. Do the type of magic that you want to do. Only listen to advice if you think that advice is going to be pertinent to you. Third of all, flight time. There is no experience for flight time, regardless of where you want to be in this industry, whether it's a full-time performer or somebody that can competently perform to their friends and family. Flight time, flight time, flight time. Go out and get a chance to perform as much as you can. Go out and perform and perform and perform. You want to go and do stage magic? Go and do an open mic night. You want to, whatever it may be, go out and perform as much as you can. Number 4, I'll give you 5. I could give you like 50, but I'll give you 5. Number 4, never give up. Never, ever give up. That's you don't want to be that person that gives up. Just keep going and keep working hard at it, and you'll get there. And finally, and most importantly, find a group of people that have a like-minded interest in the type of magic that you want to do, so that you can share ideas and you can collab on ideas together. Find people. It could be somebody over Zoom. You have a regular Zoom session with somebody. It could be somebody who lives down the street. Find somebody who will honestly give you feedback and tell you, hey, that looks good, that doesn't look so good. But don't just sit there in your bedroom or sit there in your living room and just be that person that performs and you only perform to yourself and that's it. And it's a hobby, it's an interest. Share it with other people. That's probably the 5 that I think of off the top of my head.
Amazing.
Hot damn, yeah, there you go. That is an incredible insight there. Thank you so much, Craig and Lloyd. Hot
thing
damn.
I always think, on that last point, flight time, that's the thing I regret not getting. I didn't perform enough coming up. And now because I was always kind of like embarrassed of it, and it didn't seem as cool. Like Dynamo wasn't on TV and stuff when I was coming through. It was still like people still thought of it as like top hat and tail style magic. And the one thing I think is important to remember is that the majority of lay people think magic is dope. Like they think it's awesome. And as soon as you say, can I show you a magic trick? People get excited. And sometimes you might get someone who's a bit like, lame. But even still, they're still interested to see it. But on the whole, people are hyped to see magic now more than ever. And it's pretty cool that you can...
How many times do you go out and someone's like, hey, what do you do for a living? And someone's like, oh, I'm an accountant. No one goes, oh, can you do my taxes? You say, hey, I'm a magician. And everyone's like, can I see something?
Yeah, you just think, yeah. And as soon as you do one trick, they love it, and the floodgates are opened.
And that's why we get into it, to see people's faces light up when they witness that little bit of impossibility.
And what was the name of the person?
Ella.
I think I've met Ella. She's from Ireland, did you say?
Yes.
Yeah, I met Ella at Blackpool. Yeah.
Okay, well, here's what I want you to do, Ella. I want you to do something for me. And this is something that's going to really kind of take you to the next level. It's something that a lot of people don't think of doing. Because most of the time when people first get into magic and they're trying to get better and better and better and they're getting that flight time, they look at what they think about the tricks that they can do. Oh, okay, so I can do a sponge ball routine. I can do this. I can do that. I can do the other. And it's a collection of just tricks. It's, oh, let me show you a trick. Now let me show you another trick. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to get a piece of paper and write down all of the routines that if you met somebody, you could perform it to them competently. Okay, write down all of those routines. I don't know what they are. And then what I want you to do is I want you to think about how you can create a short 10-minute act using those individual tricks, and do a few. They're called set lists. Make a few set lists, but think about how you can transition from one trick to the other, so that then when you perform to somebody, it's not 3 individual tricks and you're like, I'm going to do this trick and this trick and this trick. Instead, it's a theatrical experience that has a beginning and a middle and an end. So it might be that you start off by doing, for example.
I always do I do Ring Thing by Garrett Thomas, and then I do this ring and rubber band routine called Steadfast Like Raid. And then from there, I go in, you keep in the same, so I go from a ring to ring with rubber band. I lose the ring, and then I do a liquid band by Vinnie Marini and Vince Mendoza, sorry. I couldn't speak then. And then that still uses the band with a straw. And then I go into Crazy Man's Handcuff. So I connected all the 4 tricks with the same one object that connects each of them. And then it's easy to transition through, and it all makes sense.
Exactly. And I bet you Lloyd has thought about what he says between each trick. So rather than just saying, that's the first trick, now let's do the next trick, it would probably be a case of something like, well, now we've done that, let's see if we can make it even more impossible by using a ring, you know, whatever the case may be. It's something that nobody thinks of. They just learn tricks and they collect tricks. But think about how you can actually transition from one trick to the other, because that's going to take you from being a good performer to being a great performer. That's when you start actually learning to perform as opposed to just present tricks.
Great advice.
Yeah, Alan just said this is the best episode of the Magic Podcast ever.
I haven't made love to a sheep yet. So.
Yeah. And on that note, we're ending the stream, guys. Thanks so much for popping in. Oh dear. I was literally trying to catch up on everyone's chat there. Chris James has said, yes, absolutely. Find your circle. And don't let anyone tell you any different, because that is incredible.
And here's another thing that you should do. Follow Chris James on Instagram.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to be inspired and you want to see how to actually take magic and present it in a unique way that's unique to you,
So many clever
follow Chris James on Instagram.
The way he gets something out of the box, and this is what I love about Chris James, the way he takes something from out of the box and it's like he works out how the trick works and then doesn't pay any attention to the routine that the person does and makes it his own. He creates his own flair on it, his own style on it. And half the time I'm like, hang on.
I bought a coin set out, Bo, a couple of years ago with Alakazam called Nourish Coin Set. And he then shared a video with me. I was fooled with my own coin set.
Yeah.
Like, he took my trick and showed it me and fooled me with it.
Yeah.
Hey, who does that? Who does that? It's the
Also, shameless self-plug. I'm 23 subs away.
Come
from
on.
100K.
Oh, so are we?
Follow
So
me on YouTube.
is this the thing? We're staying on the stream now until you get to 100K.
No, I'm really hungry.
I'm really hungry. Someone 43rd Wizard just said, I hope this is one of the first of many collaborations between Craig and Lloyd.
Well.
Well, yes.
So I'm not going to say anything else other than this is the first of a planned trilogy.
What's the third thing? Oh, I know.
The thing that we're doing with the person who you do a podcast with that's not me.
Oh, okay.
Oh. Jeez, this is bombshell after bombshell.
Yeah.
This is great.
It feels strange. I was chatting in my Discord yesterday. I was like, it's weird that this is mine and Craig's first ever collaboration on a project. And then Althea said, it's because Craig or you would normally jump into each other's projects to add ideas in. So I'm off, because I was thinking, like, I'm sure I've sat down multiple times in the studio teaching tricks, but it's like this is actually the first like joint full-on release.
Yeah, it is.
It's amazing.
I want to know. This is the real question.
It was your idea.
This is the real question that I want to know, and our friendship depends on your answer. So you better think carefully. In the last year, you've released several things, but one of which is obviously decks with Javier, and one is the Infinity deck with me. Who was a better person to work with, Javier or me? And as a follow-up question, why was it me?
Well, so the truth is, Javier is a human angel. Javier fue mayor. It's strange. You and Javier are the two people, when someone says who's the most creative people I've ever met, both you appear on both shoulders, because Javier is literally an angel. I've never heard him complain. I've never heard him speak mean of anyone. I've never heard him get into any like hot water in any way, shape, or form. I also went to like Miami, met his family, everything. And it was a beautiful, joyous experience. You would be the passenger in my 2-man car on our road trip to hell, and you would smash the gates down with me and punch the devil in the face as we ride off over the Thelma and Louise cliff. Both experiences were equally enjoyable, and for their own different ways. That's not all I'll say on that.
I tried to help you out there. I tried to play the technical difficulties thing come up on the screen there so we could cut it out.
Oh, that's funny.
43rd Wizard said,
You would
Lloyd,
nominate
plead the
yourself
fifth.
as tribute while a devil wanted to do disgusting things to me. You would be my ride or die.
And you have met my family. I mean, they poured tomato ketchup on you, but I mean that you've met my family.
Yeah, different
Oh, no, you're probably
interactions.
the best as well. I just, but it's literally like devil and angel, and I'm the man in the middle.
Ace said, this sounds like a great movie. Which, yeah, we should start up a Kickstarter now. This is now on Kickstarter if you want to see this as a movie.
Absolutely.
Oh, man. Robbie just said he subbed to you, Lloyd, so there you go.
Yes, thanks, dude.
How
many have I got now? How many do I have now?
Lloyd didn't have to fly anywhere working with Craig. This is true.
Which, ironically, the 22nd card is the 8-ball in this stack.
Well, has anyone got any more questions? Because I know Lloyd is hungry, and Craig's very busy. He's probably got another gig to get back to.
And from experience, I know that he's hungry for a short while and then he becomes hangry.
Yeah, it's true. When we do the Magic podcast, after about the 4-hour mark, I'm like, I start to lose complete interest in what Craig's saying. I'm thinking of more reasons to dislike him as the show goes on. I'm losing.
And they're easy to find as well, so we have to cut off at that point.
Yeah, sometimes I'm just like, fun. So sick of this.
Chris James says, I'm convinced Javier has never raised his voice, never gotten mad, never did anything but be nice. Yeah.
I can't wait to get to California. At some point, I'm heading over to California. And I'm going to be...
It was supposed to be today, wasn't it?
It was meant to be today.
Yeah, you were meant to be over there while I was there.
Yeah. But unfortunately, it didn't happen because of various production issues with the thing that I was meant to go over there to do. You know what I'm talking about. So instead, I'm going to be going later. But when I go, I guarantee you put me in a room with Javier, within 2 hours, I'm going to piss him the hell off.
Well, that was going to be my thing. Hav's not watching this because I know Hav's very busy at work right now. So we need some... Okay, let me know what you want me to do to Have, and I'll film it, and I'll put it up on Murphy Socials, and we'll try and annoy him to get him to cry.
I want you to try and get him to... Like, you know those Punked episodes where someone gets angry because... You know, they just got like 10 bad things happen to them in a row. Like someone accidentally keys their car, then they fall over, then they lose their keys. I want you to get him to the point where like he's so angry, he says fuck.
Do you think?
Yeah, I didn't hear that. I didn't have a mute button. Magic Orthodoxy says, "Hey everyone, good to see everyone, and another great release from this dream team." Okay, I will try. I'll try and get him to say something.
You know what? Genuinely, one of my favorite things about releasing a product is waiting to see Magic Orthodoxy's review of it.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
That's when I know I've made it. When he reviews one of my products, that's what him and Fiddler Johnny.
Yeah,
dude, one of the proudest moments of my life, genuinely, like, hand on heart. Magic Orthodoxy did a review of the 16 best Gaff decks of all time. Probably the thing I'm most passionate, the product type I'm most passionate about in Magic, are Gaff decks. It's the thing that like really made me fall in love with like creating products. And he voted my Gaff deck the #1 of all time. Proudest moment in like creating Magic, genuinely, because it's the big thing that I always want to do. When I first started at a certain Magic company, it was the thing I said, like, that's the one product I'll make. So in terms of mine and Craig's trilogy, watch this space.
Well, there you go. The best picture deck on the market.
No.
We'll Venmo you $15.
No, not even that,
David.
Oh, this is yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I've had 1, 2, 3, 4 people comment. Hang on, what's Lloyd eating?
Right now, nothing.
Yeah, no, but what are you gonna eat?
What I plan to eat is I have
lamb. It's gonna be lamb.
Is this a sheep joke because of my nationality?
No, you're always
a racist?
lamb.
You a racist?
Yeah, I'm a racist. Yeah,
Because
I
I'm
am.
Welsh and we love sheep.
Yes, you love sheep and you're Welsh, but you eat a lot of lamb. You do.
I actually do. This is the ironic thing. I can't even be mad. I love lamb.
Half of the
I
time,
love
when
lamb.
is eating, it's going to be lamb.
I'll probably have a pizza. Although I do have like a big fat donut to eat after my tea tonight. And if I have a pizza and a donut, I'll end up.
Chat.
I'll be so fat if I wore a belt and a tie.
Chat, what have you done? You've started Lloyd on a 2-hour rant of food now. It's literally everyone's like chicken. Everyone's like.
I think the true answer is he's going to eat whatever Kaylee gives him, and he's going to like it.
Yeah, that's a smart choice.
Actually,
Everyone's like, I still want to know what Lloyd's going to eat. Someone just came into the chat and goes, the first thing I heard that Craig said, yes, I'm a racist. Like, what a bad time to enter the chat.
I can't wait to see that pop up on the Jerks.
Whoa, jeez.
Like,
Yeah, someone clip that, hey?
This is slowly evolving into the Magic Podcast. And
It really is.
Oh.
I'm not so hungry. I can stick around if I'm being honest.
Get a pizza delivered.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, it wouldn't be the first time you and I have been on a chat and you're like, hang on just a second. You know, the pizza just slides in. And you would text Kaylee once and you're like, hey, while you're out, can you bring me something?
Fresh. We've eaten pizza on a bed together.
We have.
Wow.
The session
Tell me
convention. I'll never forget it.
It was one of my favorite moments of my life.
Yeah. And then you sent me out of the room so you could watch Love Island. You're like, hang on, this is
I was thinking
we've
you
had
were
our
saying something
time.
like made up, but the truth is more.
Oh yeah, no, I mean we're watching magic tutorials and you wanted to watch a double lift masterclass. Yeah.
Yeah, I genuinely wanted to watch. It was an eviction night of Love Island.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, now we've started on Love Island.
Don't start him on that.
I'm only a man. Leave me be.
Oh dear. Ace just says, Craig, what's your next TV adventure?
TV adventure. I don't go on TV. I just watch my son go on TV. Are you talking about TV as in magic TV, or are you talking about TV as in?
Yeah, I don't know.
TV. Okay, well, if you're talking about TV as in, back when I was younger, I was like desperate to be on TV. Now I'm not, but Ryland ends up on TV an awful lot. He obviously did America's Got Talent last year. In 2 weeks' time, he's flying out the country to do another big TV thing that I can't talk about. And then in August, he's going off to another country to do a TV thing that I can't talk about. And then in November, he's doing another TV thing in the UK that I can't talk about. So anything that happens to do with TV in this household is all to do with Ryland.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm either in the wings, thinking I'm the worst parent in the world because he's there in front of thousands of people and I've put him in that position, or the best parent in the world because he's there in that position and he's absolutely smashing it. Or luckily, occasionally, people will take a picture, take a video of me in the audience going, I love you, Ryland. It's not embarrassing at all. So, but no, anything to do with TV is normally to do with crying.
Yeah, there you go. I love that. And then Ice also asked, when are you coming back to Columbus, Ohio again?
Well, you heard it here first. I am going to be in Columbus, Ohio, immediately after Magic Live. So I'm going to be at Magic Live again this year. I'm going to be on the Penguin booth again. And then I'll be back in Columbus for a couple of weeks afterwards. So if you want to hang out, and I imagine I'll be doing a show at the theatre. So if you want to hang out, I'm going to be there for a couple of weeks.
Sweet. There you go. Because you were meant to... There's no chance of you stopping by Rancho anytime?
Well, yes, I am. George wants to get me over to Murphy's because there's 3 things that need
some petty love.
Yeah, 3 things that need petty love. There's 3 things that I'm going to be doing over there, but we're just waiting for final. I think he wants that. They need them in the warehouse before I go over.
Yeah, okay, great.
So, but I am going over there at some point. It was funny. It's like George was like, I can't wait to see you. I was like, yeah, I can't wait to see you too, George. It's going to be wonderful. And he's like, no, I can't wait to see you perform live. I've heard about your live performances. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'll just go along and I'll do my tricks and then that's it. But I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, I'm gonna be in Columbus, but I'm also gonna be in California. I am excited to see many people. The person I'm most excited to see is Kathy Marini, who is, in my opinion, the most wonderful person. Carini, I said that. Who is? She should be promoted. But if Austin Murphy's listening to this, and I can't imagine he would, he needs to step down and give Kathy his job. I don't know what his job is. I don't know what his job title is. But I'm campaigning for Kathy to take on his job, and he can just sit down and retire. Take retirement, Austin. If you're watching this, take retirement, and Kathy and Bo can job share and do your job for you.
The stream's down. The crash. No one heard that. Sorry, David just asked how much is this deck going to be? It's $34.95.
And for the people that are in the UK, how much is that?
Yeah, what's that in real money?
Yeah, what's that in actual people money?
What's that in a currency you can pay for things with?
Not paper money, not Monopoly money.
I thought it was 45.
No.
No.
Is it not 45?
£27.43 at this particular time.
Hang on. £27.33.
No, 43 pence. But yeah.
43 pence. Sorry, don't want to.
Oh well, that's ridiculous. If it was 27 pence, then.
and you're getting a custom built deck that took us 2 years to create, designed by Phil Smith, with about 6 odd hours of tutorial from me and Lloyd and the GOAT David Jonathan. That's an insane deal.
Yeah.
Talk about value for money.
I'm a little bit anxious. I really thought it was 45. So, are you sure it's 35? I'm genuinely.
Yeah, I checked the post before because I knew some people would ask. So it's actually set up to have a post every 15 minutes. But David got in before the post came up, which is good, which made us talk about it. Because we also had another question before. Someone mentioned, someone saw the actual price come up and said, $34.95 for a deck of cards when I can go get a bicycle deck for $15. But there's more involved in this than what you can get with a bicycle deck. And
a bicycle deck won't be marked. A bicycle deck won't be full of images. A bicycle deck won't have 6.5 hours of tutorial. Well, a bicycle deck won't have all of that stuff built in.
Well, when you look at it, you can also get a regular single card gimmick for $35. And this is a whole deck. So David's like, fine, I'll get 2.
Well, a land deck on its own, which you can't do fraction of the stuff with that this can do, is £17.40. So
and that will come with instructions. That'll literally be a piece of paper. Yeah, that'll be a piece of paper that says, do this.
Yeah.
It won't tell you.
This is the Crown Deck project.
There you go. There you go. Has anyone got any more questions? Because everyone's just wanting to see a Lloyd food stream now. So I'm going to wind this up before this
Lloyd
turns.
Food mukbang.
Yeah. Before Lloyd just picks up his laptop and takes it to the bathtub and we're watching Lloyd in the bath eat pizza.
I wouldn't be against doing that if anybody wanted to do it.
I've told you. I will live stream from the bath the day that Austin Murphy joins me.
Okay, so you know what needs to happen? We need to set this up for when you come to Rancho.
I'm imagining, like Austin's such a big deal. He's going to have a corporate bathroom. He's going to have, I imagine, a big office with huge sweeping doors. And he's got like like Dr. Evil. He's got like one of those big leather chairs from the Austin Powers movies. And when you walk in, his chair swivels round and he just puts his hand like this as I've been expecting it. There's probably a secret door hidden in a bookshelf that opens up and inside it goes into his corporate bathroom. Set cameras up in there, Bo. Stick me and him in a bath. We'll live stream our ass off.
All right, so that's my job next week. I'm just going to be sitting in his office pulling all the books out of the shelves.
Yes, that's exactly what you need to do.
I've got a special job here from Craig. I can't talk about it, Austin. I'll let you know when I find it.
Because I can wait for people to buy the Infinity deck in the EU.
Yes, I saw that, so I was going to let you know. It's not out till Friday, so by all means, get in contact with your dealers. And this sounds sketchy. Contact your dealers that you normally buy Magic through, and then ask whether they're getting it in.
I don't know all of the different Magic companies in Europe, obviously, but I was having a chat on the phone the other night to Sven from Borston.
The Premium Magic store.
Yeah, and he has definitely got them in because he was talking to me about it and how awesome he thought it was. Yep,
absolutely. And then Magic Dream was in before too, and I believe Magic Dream have
to Josh.
Yes, I saw that as well. So, dude, so close.
Maybe when you get 10,000, maybe when you get 100,000 subscribers, you can update the profile picture from when you were a 14-year-old boy skating. That looks like
that photo is of me a year ago.
You don't even have facial hair on that photo.
Oh, 18 months then.
You're clean shaven pretty much. You look like you've got one of those prepubescent moustaches where you're trying to desperately.
I still have a prepubescent moustache.
The photographer didn't do a good job of you not adjusting your hat while you're took the photo. Jeez.
Myself.
Although I'm not going to talk about production quality of anything when it comes to YouTube channel, so I'll just be quiet right now, okay? And
Craig, you look like you're in you're about to have your head cut off in like a in an orange jumpsuit. This looks like you're saying this is a goodbye video.
I'm in my kitchen. I've got my low-fat cocoa rice snacks.
This stream isn't sponsored by Asda. There you go. Alakazam in USA and UK will also have it. Get one before they go quick. Everyone's popping in now to say whether they will have it or not.
Can I give a shout out actually to a different YouTube channel, not mine, not Lloyd's. Talking about Alakazam, me and Lloyd are doing an interview tomorrow with Peter Nardi that he's going to be putting up on the Alakazam YouTube channel over the weekend about the Infinity Deck, and we'll be talking about different things. So, and maybe we'll touch on Peter Nardi's Nardicals. So we're looking forward to that. So make sure that you check out Alakazam socials for that interview. That'll be good.
Are we doing that live tomorrow? Or was it a pre-recorded thing?
It's a pre-recorded thing, and then he's just going to put it up on the Sunday. I think it's because he's worried about how many times we'll mention. I'm
regretting this live now.
The source of Harry.
George Crothers says, "I'm never going to get that image out of my head now." Oh dear, oh dear. Yeah.
What do you want to talk about now, Bo?
I'm exhausted. I need a good lie down now after this stream. But is anyone else?
Two more questions.
Yeah, two more questions. Anyone? Two more questions. Then we'll wind it up. I know everyone's busy. It's Tuesday. Oh, it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Everyone's got to bug their dealers now for when it's coming out on Friday. So anyone got any more questions about the Infinity Deck or about anything? Anything?
I'm so tempted to say whatever the next question is, we'll answer it. But then it'll probably be something filth.
Yes.
2 questions. What you got?
What's everyone doing? I have a question on Instagram. I don't know if I missed something. Did you guys already give your opinion regarding Unliftable? There you go.
I reviewed it a couple of weeks ago. I said it's very good. It's very clever. I think that it's a very smart idea. I just think that there's limited places where you can use it. It's not suitable really for me because there's a lot of places that I perform. I wouldn't be able to do this. I don't even have a table around in front of me a lot. I'm doing a lot of walk around stuff. So if you have a place where you know you're going to be able to use it, I think this is a miracle. But I personally, Ryland loves this. He takes this to school. He does it on the school desks. He freaks his mates out. But for me, where I perform, I don't have a place where I can do it regularly. So it's good. If I came up with the idea for this, I'd be really happy with myself. Like, it's really creative. I love it. I just can't do it. It's annoying, really. But yeah.
There you
go. The only experience I have of it, and I think this is a good way to approach many products that are coming out there, is I only experienced it being performed on me, and it was completely unliftable. So regardless of, I don't know anything about, I do know the method now, but it's irrelevant because when someone told me I couldn't lift that box off the table, I couldn't lift that box off the table. Yeah, I tried my hardest. So if there's no affiliation with I don't even know who the creators are actually.
Inaki.
Who?
Inaki.
Do I know?
Inaki. That's the guy's name that created.
But yeah, do I know him? I don't think I do.
Inaki.
Either way, no, I definitely haven't. I don't know this person, but somebody performed on me and it worked flawlessly. That's all that should really matter.
There you go. Sorry, I just saw Tommy ask the same question about Columbus. You're there after Magic Live, Craig.
Straight after Magic Live,
There you
I'm
go.
taking eternal flight down to Columbus.
No one's come up with any more questions. Just 43rd Wizards asked what the meaning of life is, but George has already answered it with 42.
42.
Well, that's it. Let's call the stream a day.
Yeah,
Like,
you're literally shoes on, ready to run and get that food.
my shoes are literally on. Ready for my
Dude, this is
food.
what I'm wearing right now. Minecraft Crocs, baby.
Oh, mind Crocs.
Do you know how hard these were to find? They don't make them in adult sizes. I don't know why. It's weird. I had to scour the internet and message so many shoe companies like, can you get these in? And they're like, no.
I'm trying to get the Adidas shell toe Ninja Turtle shoes, the green ones.
Oh, man.
Can't get them in the UK yet. They've just been released, like special edition Ninja Turtle ones, like little RAF badges and things.
Oh, that's
Have a
wicked.
look at them. They look sick.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that off stream. Everyone is already saying thank you so much, and this stream has already turned into something different. Oh, Dave says...
checked out at this point already.
Yeah.
You had me at freaking Minecraft props, to be honest. That's when I checked out.
Oh, mate.
Yeah,
We'll
I'm
get
fine.
Ryland on him. Ryland likes Minecraft, right?
He loves Minecraft.
Oh,
He's obsessed with Minecraft.
Minecraft's amazing. Everyone's saying thanks so much, Craig. You're great. Lloyd.
You said you had one last question that somebody just dropped in or something.
Yes. Dave asks about Lloyd's lottery trick. Is it coming back in?
No, never. It was just a one-time thing.
There you go. That is it. Everyone else is saying thank you so much. You guys have a great day. Have a magical day. That is it. So
What time on Friday does this launch?
10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is
Pacific time. What's that in the UK?
6:30 British Standard Time. Yeah.
I feel like it should be earlier. I feel like that's when like magic shops in the UK are closed.
So you're saying we should just release it now?
Can we do that?
Let me just get into the back end.
No,
of
I don't think we
things.
can. I actually don't think we can.
I don't think we can.
Fine.
Because I think it's still on its way to dealers around the world.
I think they were still updating like parts of the trailer and stuff.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine because when I eventually find my way over to Memphis in California, I'm going to hack Austin's computer, and then I'll be able to make this stuff happen from the comfort of my own living room.
While you're in your corporate,
I'm anywhere.
in his corporate bathroom.
I'm going to pull the biggest heist in the world on Memphis. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be like Ocean's 11 Magic Edition. It's going to
Okay,
be
so we're recording all this for the police. This is good. We're good to go. But I think that's great. Everyone's saying thank you so much. You guys are incredible. Actually, one question I was just going to ask, talking about that, me asking a question. You talked about you're finding marking systems that have been added in after the fact. Are they just going to be kept as Easter eggs for people that buy the deck and find these things out themselves? Or is there going to be an update to the tutorial?
I did a bonus update video where I kind of went through those markings because we wanted people to know where everything was.
Okay, great.
So even though me and Lloyd stupidly missed the invisible secret markings that Phil put together, we added something in the tutorial afterwards so that people will be aware of them when they buy the project.
Okay, sweet. Thank you so much. That's amazing. That's perfect. That's answered every single one of my questions that I've ever had. Now, did you guys want to have a little dance out to the stream, or did you guys just want to... Lloyd's gone.
Thank you so much for
Thank you
joining
so much, you gentlemen.
Perfect stream.
Well,
You guys
I don't know what's happened in this stream. I'm going to watch it back, and it's going to be a roller coaster of emotions.
I just
Mostly
wanna
me
say-
sweating.
The reason why I've covered my lap with a table for the last
Anyway, everyone, have a great rest of your day. Enjoy everything.
Yeah.
You guys have been
Yeah.
absolutely amazing.
Thank you for everybody who
Thank you so
supported the
much.
project. Thank you everybody that's picked it up. And I really would like you guys to do one thing outside of buying the project and leaving a review, supporting your dealers. There's one thing I'd like you to do. Please do me a favor. Send an email to Murphys and tell them that you want to see a live stream with me and Austin in a bath when I'm at head office, and we can make it happen together as a community. We can pull this up. No, I don't want to say pull it off at a bath with Austin. We can make it happen.
How do I end the stream? What do I...
That's what Craig will be saying when he's in the bath.
Anyway, everyone,
Stream.
have a great rest of your day, everyone. Take care of yourselves. See you later on that bombshell. Bye for now. Oh, what's happened?
I want you guys to please place your hands just like this, and then one under here, one under there, one under here, and one under there, and just try to give them a quick little lift. Doesn't really lift up, does it?
No.
All right, now everyone take one hand and stack them on top. No two hands can touch at the same time in a sense like her hands can't touch her same hands. Good.
Got it.
Now what we want to do is on 10, you're going to lift, but on 9, you're going to take your hands out, put them together, and place them in the same spot that you did in the beginning.
Place them.
Okay, got it?
Yes.
Are you guys ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Place them and
Lifting.
there he is. Isn't that cool? And he's out on a drunken super. So you 4 ladies were actually able to levitate him.
With 2 fingers.
Now the white rope gets a very special knot. It's not an ordinary knot. This is a special knot as well, known as the infamous acrobatic knot. The reason it's called the acrobatic knot is all I've got to do is twirl the ropes together like this. I say the secret magic words, which I must say silently to myself. That keeps them secret, and that causes the knot to jump off the white rope over to the red. Oh! She said, that's a phony knot. I see those at the phony knot store every day. You put them on the rope when nobody's looking, you slide it off like this. In fact, with practice, you can slide it off the other end. It's easy to slide the knot off the rope. The hard part's to hold the rope like this, the knot like that, and stick it back on. Oh, sure. Now he's good. And if I blow gently, that melts the rope and the knot together, fusing them as one. Ladies and gentlemen, the amazing acrobatic knot of mystery.
This is my prediction in the envelope. Your job is to keep an eye on that. Can you do that for me?
Yeah.
So Josh, yeah?
Hello, mate.
You shop, obviously. You go to shops and
Sometimes.
stuff. Keep an eye on that prediction. I've got some receipts here.
Are they real receipts?
They are real
Can I
receipts.
have the card?
You cannot have the card.
Okay.
But if you want the receipts, go for your life. I don't care. The card is mine.
Okay.
The receipts are yours. That's how it's going to be, all right? But I've got 5 receipts from 5 different shops. Now, what I want you to do, and the reason we're using receipts is because it's going to randomize everything that we're going to do. And that's very important.
Cost cutter. Okay.
Cost cutter. You heard of cost cutter, right?
Yeah, I just.
Yeah, of course you have. Yeah, you can see them better on this side. What I want you to do, you're going to go through the receipts, pick any one that you want to, and then just bring it to the front so you can see it. I'm going to look this way. Your job is to make sure I'm not looking at him.
Okay.
Bring the one that you're looking at the front and tell me when you're looking at it.
Yeah, mate, I'm looking at it.
It's kind of getting a bit creepy now, isn't it?
No.
Right, have a look at that. Have a look at that receipt, yeah?
Yeah, I'm looking
And
at
what I want you to do, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I bought on that shopping trip.
Good.
What I want you to do is pick one of those things. Any one. It's totally up to you. But don't tell anyone, don't write it down. But
can't
pick one of
read.
those. Well, then this could be a problem.
Go on. I can just about.
Have you got one?
Yeah, I've got one, mate. I've got one.
Okay, and don't tell anyone, don't write it down. And if you're not happy, you can change it for a different one, but you're happy with that one that
I'm
you...
happy with that one, mate.
Cool. So I know it's on this receipt.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I go shopping, I buy the same thing every time.
Okay.
Other times I buy it like really occasionally. Other times I'll buy it like sporadically. There's 4 of the receipts there. I want to know how many.
look at
I want to know how many receipts it's on because
Okay.
that's for the. So if it's on a receipt, put it here with this one, but that way round so I can't
What if
see
I
any.
lied to you about it?
I'd rather you not lie because you know
Here you go.
I quite like you, Josh, and I don't want to like not like you. So if it's on a receipt, put it here. So it's on 2 receipts right now.
That's it.
It's only on 2 receipts. Just on these 2, are you sure?
Seems that way, mate.
Yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
It's just on this one and this one, right?
Yeah, 100%.
2 receipts.
2 receipts.
I didn't move the prediction. If I told you I knew how many receipts it was on, would you believe me?
No.
That's why I wrote no on there. I knew you would say no.
He did that.
Yeah, I know you. I knew. But it goes one step further because it was on 2 receipts, yeah?
It was.
And I actually put on there, your product will be on 2 receipts.
Okay.
I told you to set the bar low. That's the trick. It's not
Oh, okay then.
it's the best it's got. You don't look very impressed. You know, every time I do this, I get the same feedback. Every single time I do this, people say the same thing. They go, well, it's okay, but it would be better if you told me the thing that I was thinking of, which I can't do because that's impossible. Because, like, you could have thought of any one of these.
Anyone.
And I have no idea which one it was. Yet you didn't write it down. You didn't tell anyone. I mean, if I could tell you which one you were thinking of, Would that be good?
Go on then.
That would be good, wouldn't it? I mean, that would be good.
Yeah, give me
I mean, I can't do this, but I can try.
Go on.
Let's pretend. Let's use your imagination. Imagine you're walking into a shop, and you're walking up and down the aisles, and you're walking down the aisle that where the thing is that you're thinking of, and you grab it, and then you go to the checkout and you buy it, and you go out and you take it home and you look at it. It's on your counter, right?
Yeah.
And you take it and you put it away where it's meant to be,
Yeah, of course.
which would be in the fridge. You keep it in the fridge. It's not in a cupboard. It's not on a shelf. You keep it in the fridge in the kitchen.
Maybe.
You keep it in the fridge in the kitchen because it's something refrigerated. This is something that you actually buy. Now think about this. You didn't write it down. You didn't tell anyone. You could have literally thought of anything. You thought of one thing and one thing only. You're thinking of mature cheddar cheese.
Fuck you. Fuck you. That's fun. Yeah, it was mature cheddar cheese. Well done, mate. I like that.
Oh, yes, mate.
Thanks.
Cheers, man.
Wow.
Thanks. What's exciting is that's the first time that's ever worked. So we've got to share the moment together.
Thing is, if you know Josh, I could have said mature.
Yeah, you do me very well.
That's funny.
Wow.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
That was great.
Thanks. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I have to be honest with you. This is all to do with making a prediction. And I have to be honest with you. This is not a very good prediction.
Okay.
Mainly because I am not somebody who can read minds. But I'm going to try my best. But wherever your expectation levels are, lower them. All right?
Mine's an easy read.
Good. Your job is to keep an eye on the prediction. That envelope there, that's a prediction. Now, obviously you go shopping sometimes.
Got the shopping list.
Occasionally, you might accumulate receipts. If you're anything like me. We're going to do something with the receipts. I got some receipts here from various different shopping trips, from various different shops. I need you to do me a favor. You're going to take the receipts and you're going to pick one of them. I'm going to look away. You're going to pick one of them, which